It's okay. It's okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight for a tribute for Chloe. And we just ask that as you join in and just bear with us, because this is difficult for both of us. And we want to just celebrate such a blessed life that Chloe had. 17 beautiful years. And she was so loved. She was so loved by Shireen, her fur mom, and her sister as well. Shireen's sister Kathy as well. And then that extended to all of us who had gotten to know Chloe. Chatty, sassy sometimes when she had to go to the vet. And yes, very chatty. I loved her meows. And she always, for the most part, joined in on our lives. So if it was Shireen and I and Chloe. And so such just in those eyes, those very piercing eyes, very beautiful green eyes, emerald, I think I would say, more like emerald. So we are so thankful that you all are joining us. And please, if anyone wants to share something, just words of encouragement or whatever, even if it's something that you just uh, would like to share, if you was something about Chloe, um, or just how you would just like to share, please just let us know in the chat. And hi, Chris. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, he's still here. Thank you, Latanya. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for um, joining us. um, I know many of you know who my Chloe was. I always like to say Chloe was a little superstar, and she really was. Regardless if anyone knew her on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, she was my little superstar. And I've had Chloe, I don't even say I've had her. Chloe has been in my life for 17 years. It was Socks, and well, initially, my first cat, his name was Alex, and I had him for 17 and a half years. And when I had to say goodbye to him, that was the most difficult thing that I ever had to do. And after that, I didn't want any more pets because it was extremely difficult, and I didn't want to have to go through that again. And it's maybe a few months later, my because I lived with my sister. A few months later, my sister brought a cat in the house, and that was my Saki Socks. And I didn't want to have anything to do with her because, again, I was still in so much pain from losing Alex. Um, and I didn't want to go through that again. And she was like, okay, she's going in your room. And I'm like, I don't want this cat. I'm like, I don't want a cat. And I literally could hear my Alex say to me in my heart, Mommy, I know you love me and I know you miss me, but you have room in your heart to love Socks. And right after that, I opened up my heart and I just fell in love with Socks. She became my other heart. Alex will always be my heart. Socks will always be my heart. Chloe will always be my heart. And after Socks, then a few months later came Chloe, and they were both about 4 months old, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly. But of course, when she brought Chloe in, I was like, why is there another cat? And the same thing happened. She's going in your room. She went in my room, and the same thing happened. I fell in love with Chloe. And so Socks and Chloe, they were sisters. They weren't sisters by birth, but they were sisters because they belonged to us. And they were both rescue cats, actually. My sister's friend rescued them. And they became our cats. And for 16 years with Socks, nothing but unconditional love and joy and happiness, sadness, when they get older and they get sick. Um, and of course, my Saki, it'll be 2 years in November that I had to say goodbye to her. And now, my Chloe. And I think it hurts a little more with Chloe because I wasn't expecting to have to say goodbye to her this soon. Chloe, she's been doing pretty well for being 17 years old. She had hyperthyroidism for about 4 years, and she's been taking her medicine, and her levels were really good giving her medicine. But it's kind of like this past I'll say year, um, she she would start to lose weight. Now, if you have hyperthyroidism, whether you're human or animal, your thyroids are overactive and it makes you really, really hungry. And as much as you eat, you'll still lose weight. And so that's initially what was happening with Chloe before we found out that that was her problem. And she was still a nice size. She was still a good size, maybe about um, she was probably about 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 10, yeah, about 10 pounds or 11 pounds when she was diagnosed. And then she started to lose some weight and she got down to about 10, 11 pounds, but she was okay. And Socks was still alive at the time. Um, and for those who don't know, Socks had a heart condition. Um, and she passed away. Like I said, it will be 2 years in November. Um, but at that time, Chloe was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, and again, her weight was okay. And I keep saying this, and I've said this, and after Socks passed away, that's when I noticed things started to change with Chloe. Like her appetite started to become more like to me, like she was always hungry. And I couldn't understand why is she always hungry like this, and she's on her medication. And so it came to a point where I had to start feeding her every 4 hours. And again, this happened after Socks passed. She did wake me up early in the mornings to feed her, but after Socks passed, it started being like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. But that started kind of happening maybe a few months after she passed, but I'll say more so in towards the end of last year to like this year, she started losing more weight. And every time I would take her to the vet, she got down to 7.2 pounds. And and then she got down to maybe 6.3 pounds. And then she would go back up to a little over 7 pounds. And I was like, okay, whenever whenever she would put some weight on, I'd be happy. And I would always take her, to get her checkup. And I'd ask Dr. Cavallaro, and again, Bay Street Animal Hospital in Staten Island, New York, and all the vets there, especially I'll say Dr. Cavallaro because she was Socks and Chloe's vet, but they're all amazing. She's an amazing, amazing veterinarian. And so I would always ask her why she's still losing weight if her levels were good. And she's like, sometimes that happens because she's an older cat and they start to lose muscle mass. Okay. I still couldn't understand why, again, if your thyroid levels are at a good point that you're on medication, you should not have that voracious appetite to want to eat so much. And you should be putting weight back on, not losing weight. And so, anyway, she was always hungry, hungry, hungry. But you know what? I was happy as long as she wasn't losing weight, even if she stayed at 7.3, I was okay with that. But recently, these past 6 months, you can just look at her and tell. It's like, why is she still losing weight? Why does she keep losing weight? And yes, she's older, she'll lose muscle mass. I get that, but it still wasn't making any sense because she shouldn't be losing so much weight if she's eating as much as she did. But anyway, she was still doing fine, and so in June, what is it? No, May. In May, she turned 17, so I took her for her 3-month follow up. Because when they're senior cats, they tell you to bring them in every 3 months. So I took her in and blood work, urinalysis, everything exam. everything was good except Chloe was, having issues with her iron, so she was anemic. And so I had to give her a supplement. But, her iron levels were still kind of low. But apart from that, her kidneys were good for a 17-year-old. Everything, her heart, everything was fine. And I would take her once a week to get fluids as well because that's good for an older cat, good for their, keep her hydrated, good for her kidneys. And I always noticed whenever I took her to the vet to get fluids, she would look like, to me, she would look 100 times better. Her eyes were bright and clear. She looked a little more spunky, and she just looked more like herself, more alive. And um and so so that was in May. And so instead of taking her back in August, decided, I kind of felt like I wanted to take her back in June. Instead of 3 months, I take her back for 2 months. And so I took her back, and again, everything was okay except her iron level. Um, but again, I was still giving her the supplement. And Dr. Cavallaro was like, I can give her an iron infusion. But I don't know. I guess for me, I was just like, I didn't want Chloe to have to go through that because, again, she was so thin now. Now, this time, bringing her back to the vet, now she's down 6 pounds. And so, of course, I'm like, I always worry. And Dr. Cavallaro, poor thing, she knows me from when socks. And but that last time I took Chloe to the vet, I don't know, I just started crying, and she was like, "She's okay, don't." She's like, "Stop crying." She's, because I'm always crying when I gotta take them to the vet for some reason. And so I left, and I was okay. Chloe was fine, and took her home, and as usual, she wants to eat, blah 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 blah. So like a couple of weeks after that, I'm watching her as she's walking around the house, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, she's she's thinner again. You can just tell from a couple of days apart. You can tell that she's so thin, and even my sister, she's like, Chloe, she's too skinny, and I'm worried about her, and blah blah. I said, yeah, but she's eating, she's fine, she's her normal self. And then it started where I noticed she would go to the litter box, and now she's not covering up her poop. And Chloe always covered up her urine and her poop. She was never the type of cat to not cover anything. Socks, she never covered her poop, but that was just her. It's like, this is my territory, the whole house. So she never covered her poop, but Chloe always covered everything. And so I found that a little odd. And then I noticed she started going behind this piece of furniture, whatever it's called, in the living room. And she would go back there and she would lay down. And I'm like, that's not a good sign when your cats. And I'm not sure if it's the same thing with dogs, but I know with cats, like when they're not feeling well, or if it's coming to the point where they may pass away, they call it hide. They start to hide or lay in places where they're not normally at. And it's like behind somewhere, almost like, so like you can't get to them, even though I could get to her in that spot. But then she would come out, and she would lay on the floor like she always does, lay in the kitchen, lay in a certain spot by the railing of the stairs. And and she used to always lay on the couch, but then she kind of stopped doing that. And I'm like, Mama, lay on the couch. I put her on the couch. I'm like, it's soft, and you're so thin. But she'd get back on the floor. Okay. And so it was uh, almost towards the ending of July. Chloe was, um, Chloe always liked to jump on the table, and, my sister would have a fit with her being on the table. But And she would always jump on the table, and she never met, even at 17, she could still jump on the table. This one day, she was jumping on the table. And see, when I think about it, I was like, I want to blame myself because I had a feeling she wasn't going to make it. I should have gotten up and ran over to her to catch her. But she jumped up, and there was mail on the table, and her two front paws were on top of the mail. And she just like, she was trying to get her back legs up, and she just slid and fell on the floor. And she let out a meow because Chloe's so thin. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was like a basket case. And so she was okay. But a couple of days later, I was like, I have to take her to the vet. I took her to the vet, and I explained to Dr. Cavallaro what happened. And she examined her, and she's like, okay, she's having pain, down the tail of her spine. Because, she can tell when she examines her that if she's in pain or not. And but she didn't think she needed any x-rays, because normally she'd say, okay, let me take her in the back for x-rays. But I guess she examined her enough and didn't feel that she had anything broken or fractured. And she took blood work, but she only took for her thyroid, which I thought, okay, that's fine, because that's the issue that she was having. And so thyroid came back, it was on the right track, because she used to take methimazole, a half a tablet twice a day. But then it just in the past, I don't know, 5 months or so, 6 months, it was reduced to half a tablet once a day, which I thought was great. So it was still working fine. And I gave her Onsior injection, that's pain medication, and she gave me 3 tablets to give to her the next 3 days. And so Chloe she was doing okay. She was fine. She was still eating and everything. And then maybe about a few days after that, I'm looking at her and I'm noticing that again she's losing weight. And she's just looking a little tired. And I'm like, well, I'm like, okay, Shireen, she's 17. She'll have her senior moments, because things like that would happen to her before, and then I get all upset, but then she would bounce back in a day or two. And so I was like trying to convince myself, oh, this is just one of her senior moments. And then I noticed she started um, just kind of staring into space. And this has happened to her years prior, where she would stare into space. But after about a week, she would snap out of it, and she wouldn't have that type of episode for months and months and months. And it's been a long time since that's happened to her. And it just recently happened, um, towards the ending of July. And even one time she went to use a litter box, and the litter box was like right in front of my room. So, and I was sitting in my room at the time, and I see her in the litter box. And then I'm like, okay, she's finished, but why is she still in the litter box? And like she's staring straight ahead. And after a few seconds, it's like she snapped out of it, and she turned and she looked at me, and it's almost like she didn't know where she was. And she almost seemed to forget to get out of the litter box, but then she got out. And so I'm thinking of all these things. I'm watching all these things that are taking place. And right after that, it was like the next few days. It was last weekend. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I started to notice she really wasn't looking good. She was looking extremely exhausted, although she was still She'll jump on the chair, then jump on the table, and when she's hungry, she'll start scratching on things to get my attention. And I would feed her, but her appetite wasn't the same. I would put broth in her wet food because I know she liked it extra moist. And so now she was more drinking just the broth. She was eating some of the food, but she was more drinking the broth and she wanted more of that. So I'd give her more of that. She started eating a little dry food because Dr. Cavallaro, mentioned that give her dry food because it has carbs and it'll help to make her full. I started giving it to her, but that didn't make a difference. But so these last week, those last few days, especially on Saturday, she was walking and she looked very wobbly and she just looked completely exhausted, and I knew something was wrong. I don't know if she was in pain. She probably was because she would lay down and she's trying to sleep, but she would lay down and she would only close her eyes halfway. And Chloe never did that. If she's going to sleep, she's going to close her eyes completely. And she might lay in a spot for a few minutes, then she'd get up and move somewhere else. Or she'll get up and then she'll come and sit on my lap for a few minutes. And then she'd get up and move somewhere else. So I was like, okay, I really got to take her to the vet. That was last Saturday night. And so I was able to get an appointment for her on Sunday, last Sunday, with Dr. Candrilli. And it's ironic because Dr. Candrilli, she's the same vet when I had to take socks to say goodbye. She was the same vet that administered the medication to socks. And so here it is. She's going to see Chloe because Dr. Cavallaro was off. She's off Sundays and Mondays, I think. And so I took her, and they wanted to do blood work. And this time, when the blood work came back, it showed that she had severe pancreatitis. And I'm like, what? How does she have severe pancreatitis? I just brought her a few weeks ago and there was nothing wrong in her blood work, nothing. And she explained about her being an older cat, and how certain things can happen when you're older. And um, I mean, I still am like, I don't. And it's true because their blood work can change from 1 week to the next week. And there can be something seriously wrong the next week when there was nothing wrong the week prior. But and then she also had an infection somewhere, and her anemia was worse now. And so she was just telling me how her health was declining rapidly. But I honestly saw that the whole weekend, from Friday, from Thursday to Saturday, I saw how she just declined so quickly. But she was still trying to be herself because that Sunday I went out early in the morning and then I came back and Chloe was there on the floor. She's meowing at me to give her something to eat. So she was, she was still alive. But I knew something was wrong. And so I took her and they did all of that. And then she explained to me, what the options were. But of course, when they weighed her, now she was 5 pounds. And I'm like, I have a picture of Chloe when she was there. If you were to see the picture, she literally was like skin and bones. And so every time I took her, she kept losing and losing and losing more weight. And so She told me everything that they could do for her, but it was not a guarantee. And of course, the other option was to say goodbye. And I wasn't expecting this to happen at all, and especially not this fast. Um, and so, unfortunately, my sister was upstate, but I'm so thankful that my niece, Marisela, her son, was able to drop her off, so she was there with me and Chloe. And because Chloe kept losing weight, that's one reason why I'm like, if I bring her back another time, she'll be 4 pounds and then 3 pounds. And how is my cat supposed to live? And I knew Chloe was feeling horrible because whenever I take her to the vet, now she's the sweetest cat in the whole world. But when she goes to the vet, some animals, they don't like being at the vet. So she would get a little spicy with them. They would always call her, she's like, she's a little spicy bean. But she was the sweetest cat in the whole world. She didn't put up a fight with Dr. Candrilli. She didn't put up a fight with any of the vet techs. So I knew Chloe she really, really was feeling horrible. And unfortunately, I had to make the decision. And I was like, Lord, please, can you just take her? I don't want to have to go through this a third time. I had to do it with Alex. I had to do it with Socks. I'm like, please, not my Chloe. But unfortunately, I had to. And but before Dr. Kendrley came back in, she gave me, time to spend with her. And there was one thing Chloe did that she's never done. As I was holding her and telling her how much I love her, she put her paw on my face. It's almost as to wipe my tear away and to tell me she loves me and it's okay, mommy. We'll be with Saki. And so Sunday, August 9th, I had to say goodbye to my Chloe. This is the hardest thing to have to do. And no matter if it was the right thing to do, these are things that I always feel guilty. Because I'm like, Lord, she still has life in her. Why do I have to make this decision? And she's gone. And I love her so much. She was my little chatty cat. Everybody heard her. And it's like, even yesterday, Violet of Burry Babes and her husband Lou of See Things Above TV. Every time I would come on, she would always say, "Hi, Chloe." she was like, Chloe is our first furry BB squad member, furry Burry and Babe squad member. And yesterday, when they both said hi to Chloe, I had to tell them she's not with us anymore. And I mean, they even were like, I'm so sorry. And Violet was like, I love my little furry Chloe, and just to hear others and you all, and you would hear her whenever I would do a live stream, or maybe I would record a video. You would hear her in the back when I would do lives with Latanya, or when we did our Rise and Shine. You would always hear Chloe talking. And she's not here. And I know some people out there, no, she's just a cat. No, no, no. She's just a cat to you, Chloe. My little fur baby. She's with me for 17 years. I've had her since she was a baby, a kitten, not a tiny, tiny baby, but she was 4 months old. Fox was 4 months old. It was the same thing with my first cat, Alex. I had him at 4 months old, and he was with me for 17 and a half years. This never gets easy. Socks and Chloe and Alex, they'll always be my heart. And they're not just animals, they are part of my family. And I will never, ever forget them. I will never forget my Alex, my Saki, and my Chloe. And they're all gone. And I can't bring them back. Please hold on to your pets. Please love your pets, your fur babies, whether they're dogs, your cats, birds, bunnies, even if you have reptiles that I don't care for, or you have fish. Love your pets. They truly do give you unconditional love. And there's just something about cats and dogs, and I'll just say cats, seeing as I've never had dogs, but I love dogs too. But it's just something about your fur babies that I don't ever want to leave them. And there have been many times that I've gone on trips, but it's always like, Lord, I don't want to leave them, and I want to be with them always. And because they, you are their entire world. All they want is to be with you. And honestly, I can say they were my whole world too. And I just feel very lopsided again. I felt that way with Alex. I felt that way with Socks. But I still had Chloe. And now that Chloe's gone, it's more lopsided than ever. And I know I'm a follower of Christ. And I know that the Holy Spirit's with me. But things just seem very unbalanced and off right now. Because I don't have Chloe. She was my last fur baby. And she's not here anymore. But she was the sweetest cat. Socks was the sweetest cat. My Alex was such a sweet boy. And sometimes losing a pet can be more difficult than losing a human. Just sometimes, because again, you have to devote all of your attention to your animal more than a person, unless they're a child or unless there's someone you have to take care of, but you get wrapped up in your little fur baby that when they leave you, it's that pain is it's different. It's different than anything else. And I know 2% kept sending me these videos, and I would crack up because I'm like, that's Chloe. She would send me, she would tag me with this video of this cat scream. It was a gray cat. I think you said a black cat, but I think the cat was gray because she's gray because Chloe is a gray cat. Everything that was Chloe. The cat would start. What was the cat? The cat would start singing at like 3 a.m. in the morning or yelling or doing something, and then the owner had to get up to feed her, and she looked horrible at 3 o'clock in the morning. That was my Chloe. But yeah, Chloe would wake me up at midnight, or she'd wake me up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and she would always, because Chloe would sleep in my room sometimes, but then she would most of the time stay downstairs in the living room. So she'd come upstairs and she'd come in my room and she'd start meow 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 at 1 o'clock in the morning. And if I didn't get up, she'd keep meowing, or she'd go in the hallway and she'd go to the bathroom door and she'd start scratching on the bathroom door while she's meowing. So I'm like, I gotta get up and feed her. So when 2% would send me those videos, I would crack up because I'm like, that's exactly my Chloe. But I'd give anything. And yeah, I look horrible. I look horrible. But I'd give anything for that 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. wake up call for Chloe. I'd give anything to have her scratching on the bathroom door. I'd give anything for her jumping on the table and seeing, well, what are you eating, mommy? And then I'd give her a piece of chicken, and her eyes would light up. And I was like, okay, mama, you take this, you eat the chicken. And she would always have to investigate, even if I had like cereal the other day. And I'm like, you want cereal? But I give anything to have my Chloe back. I know she's with Saki, her big sister, and I like to believe. And I know there's no scripture verses that say it, but I'd like to believe that all our fur babies are with the Lord. I know there's scripture that talks about how the lion and the lamb, is that in Revelation, will lay down together and it's like they'll be at peace. The lion's not going to try to eat the lamb. So I just like to think, I like to think that my Saki and my Chloe and my Alex are with the Lord, just like Chris's Fiona and any other person's fur baby, Rosalind's fur babies. 2%, did you have pets? I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat, but if anyone, um, our friend Millie, Lazarus, her bird, Latanya, her sweet bird, I like to believe they're all with the Lord and that we'll see them again one day. I pray. But I just I just wanted to give this little tribute to Chloe. Um, I do want to maybe just the video that I played for the intro. That actually was a video I made for her 17th birthday. Um, but I do want to maybe just um show a couple of videos of my little Chloe. Uh, okay, let me just go here. Okay. Uh,
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You
From the moment you walked into my life, I knew you were something special. Whiskers and your beautiful eyes. Just one look and I'm under your spell. Oh yeah. You curl up on my lap, oh so warm and cozy. Purring and nuzzling, you make me feel so free. From the moment
you know, well, Tanya, we talked about her eyes, and Chloe and right, such beautiful eyes. But Tanya, if you wanna,
You know, um, I really was enjoying the videos you were playing of Chloe. Uh, she just, Chloe was just so special, and so how she talked with her eyes, with her face. Oh,
yeah,
wow. She really did. Huh, yeah, her facial expressions. Yes, that's it.
yeah,
Chloe, she really did talk with her eyes, with her facial expressions, and um, just all the videos that you have of her. I'm so glad that you have those.
yeah.
Um, yeah, um, yeah,
I'll share I'll share a couple more.
yes. You know the video that when it was Sock's birthday, it was Chloe was, I get it mixed up. They were, somebody was cleaning themselves, and then somebody got upset, and you was like, break it, sisters. What was
Oh
that?
yeah, it was Sox's birthday, and I think Chloe was. I was like, "Oh, you giving your sister a birthday
Bad.
bath? Thank you, birthday bath." And then Socks was like starting to like hit her or something, and I'm like, stop it. I'm like, stop it. So I'm like, I was like, no birthday fighting. That's what I said. No birthday fighting.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Oh yes, Chloe's facial expression. She just had this look on her face all the time. And people would say, is she mean? I'm like, no, Chloe was the sweetest. I used to say, now Socks was such a sweet cat. She was very timid of everything, but she still was strong. When I would take her to the vet, she would not become spicy or anything. She would just be quiet and still. Chloe, on the other hand, no. Sometimes they had to. One time they actually had to like. They tried to wrap her in a towel because it was like she became like, was it Jekyll and Hyde? I was like, Chloe, people are gonna think that you're this crazy cat. But they knew how to handle Chloe. But that one time they tried to wrap her in a towel, because that's supposed to calm them down. No, that just made it worse with her. She was like, "Rrrr." I was like,
Ooh.
Chloe. And she hissed at me and she swatted at me. I was like, that's okay. I deserve it. I know. But
Yeah.
by the time we got home, she was her normal self. But I love this little video, her little face here. I love when she would stand on the chair because, like, I would be working from home. So she's like sitting next to me on the chair and she'd look out the window and it's a pretty face.
Yes.
Pretty little baby, pretty little baby, pretty little baby. You say that maybe you'll be thinking of me and try to love me, pretty little baby. I'm hoping that you do.
I love this one because you just see her face, that pretty face with pretty eyes. Like,
Yes.
oh, they were a treat for you to see in the morning before you started work. Oh, yeah,
Oh.
I miss her. Oh, I know Rosalind. That's how I got to know Rosalind from the
Mm.
shorts. Chloe.
Yes.
But okay, I'll look for that one with her in socks.
Yes. Oh my
Let's
goodness.
see.
Those two sisters.
I know they crack me up. Those. Let's see. Oh, here it is.
Oh,
Here it is. Okay. Okay. 1 second. Yeah, this was on Socks' birthday, August 31st, 2024. Yeah, because if
wow.
Socks was alive, she would be 18 today. Okay.
Happy birthday, my little socks, cadoodle doo. Happy birthday, Saki! Okay, for those who may not know, Socks, she's my gray and white kitty right there, cleaning Chloe, giving her a little bath. Look at that, she's giving her a little bath on her birthday. She's a sweet 16. Right, my socks cadoodle doo? You're a sweet 16 today. Yeah, you are. Okay, now your little sister giving you a bath, huh? Happy birthday! Happy birthday, Mama! I'm so glad the Lord has given all of us another year with you. It's been a very challenging 2 years since you were diagnosed with an enlarged heart, but it's only by God's grace and mercy, Him answering prayer, that, and you, Saki, fighting, and all of us doing what we can do for you, that
you're still with us, and I am so grateful for every moment, for every minute with you. I wish you would be looking at the camera. You were just looking at me. Don't you stop, Chloe. Hey, it's her birthday. See, now you bothering her. Stop. Hey. No, no birthday fighting. Oh my gosh.
Those sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I forgot. It was Socks giving Chloe a bath, and then Chloe
Yeah.
started to, and then there you saw Chloe like try to bite her. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey.
Uh-oh. Oh my goodness.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, and the votes. Yes, last year, Chloe. I entered Chloe because I had initially entered Socks. I don't know, 3, 4 years ago into America's Favorite Pet contest,
Yeah.
and Saki, I think only made it past the second round. And I was like, because Socks was she had the heart condition at that time, and so I was like, well, let me enter Socks before Chloe. Um, and yeah, Socks made it, I think, to the second or third round, and then unfortunately that was it. And then last year I entered Chloe, and oh my gosh, I know I drove people crazy, even if a lot of people didn't vote for her. I mean, but there were so many people that surprised me with voting for Chloe, because people would actually donate, so that because you can do that, you can donate and you give a certain amount of money, and it would give her a certain amount of votes. So if you voted, you gave $20, it would give her 20 votes. And then they always had where it would always be double the vote. So that, I think that was like every round that they had, it would, at some point in that week, it would be double the vote. So if you gave $10 and it was 10 votes, it would equal to 20 votes. And so Latanya,
Mm.
my sister, my nieces, well, one of my niece, my other niece, poor Marisala, she couldn't vote because you had to have a Facebook account, which I think is kind of goofy because there could be a lot of people that would want to vote and they don't have Facebook, but you have to have a Facebook account. And the votes were free. You didn't have to donate, but people donating votes really, really helped Chloe. And I have to say, even my director, my sergeant, my co-workers, so many people voted for her and donated for her. Um, like I said, Latanya, my friend Charles, I can't I can't thank you all enough. You know, my family, my great nieces and nephews voted for her, and Chloe made it to the semifinals. And I was just floored. And I remember the night, the what was the last night of the semifinals?
Mm.
Chloe was in second place.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
said, "Oh, I said, okay, Lord, I'm gonna be okay if she doesn't make." Um, oh boy, before the semifinals was a quarterfinal. Wait, quarterfinals, yeah, it was a quarterfinal. So I was like, I'm okay, Lord, if she, I know, she doesn't have the amount of votes that she's gonna need. And so anyway, it's funny. I was in Pennsylvania and I was driving home to go back home, and I remember stopping to get something to eat. I pulled over and I said, oh, let me just see, because you'll get an email to say if your cat made it or didn't make it. So I was just going to check to see, oh, I'm sure I'm going to see the email that says, Chloe didn't make it. But then when I opened it up, it was like, Chloe made it to the semifinals. I was like, what? And then when I found out how she got there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everyone who donated votes, who gave the free votes as well. Like I said, Latanya, thank you so much. You just don't know. I can't thank you enough either. Um, and I can't thank my family enough, and my boss, and my coworkers, my sergeant, um, and just for even those who were rooting her on, even if you didn't vote, but you were rooting her on. I was just like, and like I said, my one friend, especially my friend, um, he probably have my head if I keep thanking him so much, but I have to say thank you, Charles. Thank you. Even if you're not watching this, thank you. Thank you for all you did for Chloe. Um, but she didn't make it. She made it. It was the wild card. That's what she made it to. She made it to the wild card, and so then she was able to compete against other cats who also made it into the wild card. But unfortunately, she didn't make it past the semifinals. But I was just like so amazed that she made it that far, and so um, thank you all so much. Have a good night, 2%. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for all those wonderful videos, funny videos. That was definitely my Chloe. Thank you so much. But I won't keep anyone too much longer. But Latanya, I want to thank you so much for being on here with me. And like I said, for
Oh,
those of you, and Rosalind,
yes.
oh my gosh, Rosalind, I even know how much Rosalind loved Chloe, and she was always here too for Chloe, and I'm gonna miss her always saying Chloe baby. She would always come in the stream and hi sister Serene and hi Chloe baby
Yes.
and good night. Thank you so much, and I'm so glad that the little bit of videos that I put of Chloe, that if it made your morning or your evening, thank you so much. T Naba, thank you so much. I'm sorry, T Nab. Nah, thank you so much. Thank you, 2%. Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for. And I was gonna say that Chloe, even if she never met you or saw you in person, I know she loved you all because she would still be talking while everyone was talking, and she would be answering you back, whether you knew it or not.
Yeah.
she, yes, she was talking back to everybody, and so yeah, she was tired. Yeah, I know she was tired. I did. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the comments when I was mentioning Chloe, but she was tired, and but it's just always hard that I don't like having to make that decision. And what I was also so Tina. Oh yes, that's right. Because I remember Tina. Sorry, thank you so much. I remember you saying your name was Tina. Yes. And I just want to say again too, not that they're seeing this, but Bay Street Animal Hospital, Dr. Cavallaro. It Well, Socks and Chloe, they saw Dr. Cohen, who he's also amazing. Um, and Dr. Annenson, she's great. Dr. Kendrilly. Again, how ironic that she was the doctor that had to administer the medications to both Socks and Chloe. My thing was, I always wanted it to be Dr. Cavallaro because she was their vet. But both times, Dr. Cavallaro was off on those days. But Dr. Cavallaro, as I was driving to Pennsylvania, because I'm not home this weekend, I couldn't stay home. I told my sister I was coming over to my sister and brother in law in Pennsylvania. But as I was driving here, Dr. Caballero called and she wanted to extend her condolences. And Dr. Caballero, she's like I said, she's wonderful. All the veterinarians there are fantastic. But she knew Socks and Chloe's history, and she always did the very best for them when I took them there. And again, she's the one that was able to find out, because when Socks had gotten sick, Socks was never sick. At 14 years old was when she started to not feel well. She had to stay in the hospital. And although she didn't show any signs of a cat with a heart issue, because they couldn't understand why she was having fevers and all that stuff, Dr. Cavallaro said, do an echo. And once they did the echo, it showed that Socks had cardiomyopathy. And but again, Socks is a whole miracle all in herself. Chloe, I didn't even share, but I might have shared it other times, but Chloe was a miracle with diabetes and God healing my cat of diabetes. He healed Chloe of diabetes, but both of them, I know that God kept them or healed them. And for Socks to live over 2 years with her medical condition, and even in that that video of her 16th birthday, if you look at her, you couldn't tell Socks was sick at all. Because every time I would take her to the vet, and when she did see Dr. Cohen, he would say, I would not know she was sick if I didn't know she was sick. But I chalk that all up to God's graciousness. And yes, for all the medication she had to take and for her being strong too. But I'm grateful to the Lord for what he did for Socks, for what he did for Chloe. And again, Dr. Cavallaro, thank you so much. And she even said, she says, you did the right thing for Chloe because she was having issues towards the end. And I will ever be grateful to Bay Street Animal Hospital for all they did for Socks and Chloe, including the young women and the older ladies that sat at the front desk. They were phenomenal. And so, and thank you all again for loving my Chloe, for being titis and tios and friends to Chloe. And yes, they have the book Missing Myself. That's going to be okay. Yes. Good night, Rosalind. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry, Latanya, you want to say anything else before we go?
Oh no apologies. I wanted to be here. Thank you for including me. And I wanted to be here for support and also just my many memories and of Chloe. I remember when I told Shireen, I said, Shireen, will you record Chloe's meows and send them to me? Because I just loved her meows. Chloe, well, it just sounded like she was talking. You
Mhm.
just had to hear it. And like, how Chloe would be a part of the lives, and it would just crack me up like, you go, Chloe, where if there was something, maybe just a point being made, and Chloe would be, it's like she's saying, that's right, meow, I
Yes.
agree. So, oh my goodness, so many memories of uh, just the different things that I I even though I wasn't in person, I never got to meet Chloe, but it was as if I would tell Shireen that if I would have had the chance to meet her in person, how I would just grab her and just like want to like just hug her. And I wonder how Chloe would take that.
She
I don't
just
know.
look at you like, what are you doing, lady?
Exactly. I'd be like,
She
Chloe.
she wouldn't she wouldn't hiss or anything like that. She just look at you like, I don't know you. I think I know your voice, but
Right, right, right. Well, she did see a couple of times, a
yes,
couple of times. So she did see
yes,
in
that's
person. Yeah.
right.
So yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tina thought you thought Socks would be the chatty one because oh yeah, no, Socks barely said a word. It was my little Chloe, my full gray cat Chloe. She chatty, 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 chatty. And sometimes I have to be like shh. And every time I Chloe shh, she'd be like meow, shh, meow, shh. And sometimes she'd be like meow. I'm like, use your inside voice. She'd be like, but
I
yeah,
think Socks was like more where she would be on camera. Remember how Socks would she would be more like where she would come across. I think that's how it was.
sometimes you'd see Socks, but you would still more see and hear Chloe.
It would
But
still be okay.
yeah, but every now and then you would see Socks. I remember Socks would like be laying right behind my neck on the couch when I
Mm,
was, doing the live stream, and she would lay right behind my head. But you would see and hear Chloe most of the time. Yes, but thank you all so much for um joining me and Latanya tonight to just share a little tribute to our. She's my Chloe, but she's all of our Chloe.
yes. Yes.
I forever love you, Chloe, and forever miss you. And you're always in my heart, Chloe. Always. You, Saki, and Alex.
Yes. Do you have any videos, Shireen, of Alex?
Alex?
Yes.
No, unfortunately, I don't.
Alex. You don't. Oh,
No, I don't have any videos of. Man, this was a long time ago. Long
okay.
time ago. Yeah.
Okay.
But if I could find a picture of him, because my Alex was a gray and white tabby. He was a tabby cat. Um, yeah. Socks and Chloe were the first female cats that I've had, and also gray and white. So,
Oh, and what was the breed?
they all three of them. They were short-haired domestic cats.
Okay, short-haired domestic. Oh,
Domestic. Yeah. They weren't like a Mancoon or like some people thought Chloe was like a blue Russian cat, but she wasn't. But then again, who knows if I did a DNA test on her, maybe it would have turned out she was a blue Russian. But no, Chloe was a short-haired domestic. But like gray cats, they consider them like blue. So Socks and Chloe, they're both short hair domestic and Socks. I'm sorry, and Alex, same thing. Although he was tabby, that was his stripings, but he was a short hair domestic cat as well.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But thank you so much, everyone. And until next time,
Yes.
take care, everybody.
Body.
On behalf of my Chloe. Bye.
Bye.